Okay, so, I've got this new machine. I'm on a roll with it. Been doing a lot of streams, and I've always wanted to do a react video, and I think what a better video for a first react video than to react to my famous iWonderTV documentary. If you haven't seen it, this YouTube channel iWonder, they do different pieces, mostly on, weird people, interesting people. And Travis got a hold of me via TikTok, and he said that I seem knowledgeable about this raw meat stuff, and he would like to interview me and make a video, which, I didn't get any money for. If you're pining after this content creator sort of lifestyle, just know stuff like this, you're not going to get any money for it probably, unless you're like already, sustaining an income this way. But yeah, I said sure. It'll help the cause, get it out there, a little exposure for myself, and yeah, it was. I had like 2 week notice, week and a half notice. He got a hold of me in I think November, October. It was before Thanksgiving, just before Thanksgiving, that he came out and shot this, and then we, he edited it and released it the following year, first of the year. So I've got this video we're going to review, and I'll give you a little bit of behind the scenes and some commentary.
Please like and share this video and subscribe for more stories.
That's me.
For the past 2 years, I've been eating raw meat, raw animal products, and I have never felt better. I eat anywhere from half a pound to maybe 2 pounds of meat in a day if I'm eating meat that day. Sometimes I just live on eggs, raw milk,
Famous
and
liver shake.
honestly, I've always been interested in diet because I've had health issues with eczema and joint pains, things everybody experiences. And through my research and experimentation, I haven't found anything that works quite as good as a raw diet.
That works. That was really. What do I want to say? That really. Am I showing full screen here? I'm sorry, guys. I don't. I want to make sure my picture should still be there if it's in full screen. Let's see here. Theater mode. I guess so. Anyway, this, yeah, that was not rehearsed, that little slurp. It just kind of worked out. And you can see there's kidneys in there. I'm not a fan of kidneys. I had to go to the store, or the butcher, rather, the prior day, the butcher I usually go to get that stuff, because it was closed, because we filmed on a Sunday. But we did go to another store, butcher, you'll see here.
Great stuff.
And this is where I used to get my milk, McDottie's Farm.
Hi there, my name is Chris, and I eat raw meat. I eat raw meat because I think that's what humans are supposed to eat. That is part of the natural human diet.
Always bring your containers back, guys. If you're on a container system with your milk guy, bring your containers back. They'll remember you. They'll appreciate you. They'll hook you up. Most people don't bring them back. They bring them back dirty. So just a little PSA for that.
So today I'm headed out to my dairy farmer to pick up some whole raw A2 milk that is produced from Guernsey cows, which are some of the finest cows in the world. They have more beta-carotene in their milk than, say, Jersey cows. So, works on the honor system. You come in here, you get your milk, and then once you got your milk, you leave your money. It's $10 a gallon.
Man, remember when milk used to be $10 a gallon? Well, I shouldn't say remember. Now I pay $13 from this source, and I also go to the Amish every once in a while. Usually get my butter, which I get for $5 a pound, and they've got milk for $7.
I really love drinking the whole raw milk because it provides unparalleled nutritional benefits in terms of vitamins and nutrients. There's also many live enzymes and bacteria in the whole milk that are good for people as well. And
so in this jar, if you're wondering what that is, that's lemons and vinegar I use for cleaning.
And it's an A2 strain, so it's a lot easier for people to digest. And I drink anywhere from 1/3 of a gallon to 1/2 of a gallon every day.
Build a website you love
Ads.
with Wix.
What a bummer.
For your words.
After we stopped and got some raw milk, we're gonna head over to a local butcher where they have high quality, local pastured meat available. I'm gonna pick up some ground beef and I'm gonna make some steak tartare along with a few other things today.
Yeah, we got ground pork here as well.
For me personally, I make sure that the animal...
It was pretty funny because we were in line because this was during, you know, the pandemic and everything. And we were like waiting in line and, you know, Travis was getting his camera out and the owner was there and he like didn't really know what was going on. But we just walked him there and, you know, started filming. You know, I'm more of a ask for forgiveness, not permission kind of guy. And, you know, when it comes to art and stuff, like when I was in film school, we would film stuff on the CTA, and my professor, he was always impressed because he was like, how did you film down there? They never let anybody film down there. You know, you got to get a permit and stuff. And I was like, I don't know, we just did it. And this was back, you know, when smartphones were coming around, so totally different now. You know, you can go and film pretty much anywhere because you got a phone. But anyway, it just was funny. And, you know, of course I have my mask on.
I buy are organic, that they are non-medicated, they're not fed hormones, they should be on pasture, they're not cooped up in some stalls being force-fed GMO grain and you know, hormones and all that other stuff. The meat I buy does not have any of that. So if you're looking to eat raw meat, you want to find those sources which are organic, pastured, and local. I found a very easy and convenient way to eat some of the organ meats I like to eat is to blenderize them. So I'm going to make one of my favorite things here. This is an organ shake. Got some fresh lamb liver and lamb kidneys here.
Travis specifically requested that I make this because it was pretty prevalent in my TikToking days. I would TikTok everything I ate pretty much because I had the time. The world was kind of at a standstill in some ways and things were, you know, ebbing and flowing differently. So I just had more time and I was like, well, I'll just upload everything I eat just as a science experiment to show like I'm not dying. That was kind of the idea.
And we're going to start off by blenderizing the meats. So we're going to put our liver in here. And the red stuff is actually hemoglobin. It's not blood technically. It's just from the liver. Juices from the liver. Eating raw meat has many benefits. Firstly, when you expose meat to heat, the cooking temperatures that we're all accustomed to, it degrades and denurtures the meat. One of the other main points are the changes that happen when you cook fat, when you heat fats. The cooked fats aren't going to melt in your mouth like the raw fats. And honestly, as I'm sure many people know and can relate, eating those gristly cooked fats is not very comfortable for your stomach. Throughout my almost 2 years now of eating raw meat, I have never had a problem.
This was unfortunate because I like made too much and it took a long time. He shot a lot of stuff this day. We recorded like we went to go pick up the milk, and then we went to the butcher, and then came back and made all this stuff and prepared it. Travis actually, I don't know if it's in this video, but he actually like drank a little bit of the liver, and then 3 days later he was texting me because he was going through a pretty wicked detox. Because I mean, he was like driving across the country and drinking a lot of energy drinks. He had like a Bang energy drink with him, and I was like, oh, it's it's not healthy. I didn't tell him that, but I'm not surprised he had that reaction. And he's a family man. He had his wife taking care of him, so a lucky guy. But I was like, yeah, don't worry, you'll be fine. It'll pass. But yeah, I mean, he only had a couple sips of the liver shake, and yeah, I don't know.
Eating massive quantities of raw fat. So it just got stuck on the blades, so we're gonna just relocate that. Continue blending. I find that I need less sleep when I take blenderized or minced meats, because it saves my body energy, because I don't have to work as hard to digest it, and I'm getting complete whole nutrition through the raw foods.
Yeah, there you go. That was a pretty legendary moment. It wasn't planned or anything. It does get stringy when you don't get rid of the sinew and connective tissue in the liver. You do get stuff like that. And I was like pretty grossed out by it, but I knew it would be good video, so I did it. Like I said, I'm a texture guy. If you watched my other video of reviewing the foods, but yeah, I don't really like those sinewy bits. It's hard to get down, but I got that one down for the vine.
Great stuff. It's got nice consistency, similar to
Monday.com, the opposite of
Another
any work
ad.
platform we tried in the past. We tried other work management
Sorry about
platforms,
that.
not named.
like a thick chocolate milk. Sweet, creamy taste because of the milk, the honey, and the eggs. Really does a good job masking what you may think is like the unpleasant organ taste or whatever. The texture of the organs is gone. Obviously, it's blenderized. But this is a great way to get your meat. And
I kept saying blenderized, which really isn't even technically a word. I just was, really into the ogenous stuff and listening to him, and he always said blenderized, so I'm just kind of like a little language model here, a little AI, just kind of parroting. But blenderized, you know what I mean. It is what it is. I don't really like the taste of liver and stuff. It's not something I eat plain, and again, the texture too. So, and this is a better way to eat it for me personally, because like it's faster and you digest more of it. So
your organs, especially if you have a hard time just eating them on their own. So this is a convenient, easy way for me to eat it. And I can get the milk and the eggs with everything too. So as you'll see today, I'm going to eat some fermented liver, which is basically just rotten liver that's been sitting in a jar for a couple months. All right, so this is the fermented liver, otherwise known as high meat. It's very easy to make. All you need is a clean jar and about, half a pound to a pound of fresh liver, or any other meat you would like to use. However, liver is the most palatable that there is. And what you do is you chop the meat up finely in 1-inch cubes or so, and then you fill it up about halfway, leaving another half room in the jar for air. And every 3 to 4 days, you're gonna wanna take your jars outside, and then you just simply air them out. So that's what it looks like. When you eat high meat, you're ingesting a lot of bacteria, a lot of good bacteria for your body. And when it gets to your stomach, all those bacteria mingle and coalesce.
this was pretty interesting because you see, like, it cuts back to me in the chair, and Travis, he did a good job directing me and telling me what to say and where to say it, because we kind of had this planned out. I don't remember if I sat down and went through everything after, and then I just he kind of like told me when to say it, like as if, you know, it was happening now to narrate it. Yeah, that's how this was shot, essentially, if you're curious. And yeah, the high liver is the best. As you can see, I had a lot of it, and this was a point where, you know, I would eat like a whole jar, you know, pretty much. You know, I would just dump it in a bowl and eat it. Like if I didn't have meat, I wasn't going to go to the store. I was like, oh, I'll just eat this. And that's what I used to do.
And they release serotonin and dopamine into your body, creating a high sense, which is why the fermented meats, such as the fermented liver, have gained this nickname high meat. It has a smell similar to like Parmesan cheese, or no, I'm sorry. It tastes rather like Parmesan cheese, but it smells kind of like cherries, like a cherry wine or something. So that's kind of a big lump. I'm a little full for that. So here's a piece. This is about 2 months old, and high liver going in.
Little review bra call out there for you. Yeah, I was, like I said, I was pretty full. Like, I didn't really anticipate like how much I was going to be eating that day, and yeah, I should have had a little more foresight into that. There were things I wanted to do that I thought of doing like after, like, oh, this would have been good, this would have been good, but I only had like short notice to do it, so it is what it is. But I'm happy with how it turned out, I think. But yeah, this is a pretty big piece and is pretty spicy.
One of my favorite absolute things to eat is lamb heart. I particularly enjoy lamb heart because it's a healthy cut of meat. It's very nutritious. It's also very flavorful.
Let me go back. So, yeah, on the table here, this is the liver shake. This is steak tartare. This is pork, ground pork with horseradish. And this is horseradish sauce. And this is the lamb heart. And that's more milk. So, yeah, I like ate pretty much all of this. And that was like half a pound. That's almost half a pound. The liver was probably like almost a pound of liver. So yeah, it was a lot to eat in a day.
Very flavorful compared to some other hearts such as beef, and it's more tender as well, which I enjoy. All right, so eating some lunch today. It's a special occasion. So I've got some lamb heart here. This is probably one of my favorite types of organs to eat because you get the nutritional benefits from the heart, but the lamb heart is a little more tender, and it's not as dull as, say, beef heart. It's also a lot smaller.
Yeah, beef heart tastes like a really boring steak. Lamb heart has, I don't know, it's just more tender. It's just better. I don't know if it's because it's smaller or whatever. You know, beef heart is, it works for a really big animal. And a lamb heart doesn't, so I think that's why it tastes a little better.
Also got some steak tartare here. This is some freshly ground beef with a raw egg on top. And then we also have some raw pork here, some fresh ground raw pork. And I like to eat that with some of that fresh horseradish we just made. And then, of course, I have some milk to wash.
Yeah, so there was stuff that was cut out, like the horseradish is what I can remember. I didn't even remember that. But yeah, I made a few different things, I think, and this is kind of just what made it in.
Help wash everything down.
Bon appetit.
Indeed. A lot of people in today's society are put off of how I eat. It's seen as very weird and barbaric, probably, but it's a natural human diet.
Yeah, I was getting really full right there. I was like, oh my goodness, I am full. Jeez Louise, like I'm eating so much. That was that big sigh, and I sigh a lot.
Humans
I don't know
are
why.
designed to eat raw meat. I know through my experience of eating raw meat for 2 years, as well as talking to dozens of other people.
You know, when you chase it with the milk, you're getting full to get it down, and that's where I was here.
Who have a similar raw meat diet, that the health benefits and the good feeling that comes from having a clean raw diet far outweigh
Weak erections? Check out this chewable mint.
I don't have weak erections
You know you don't have to
because
come all
I'm
the
on
way
the
to the
primal
pharmacy
diet.
to get your scripts, right?
I get a lot of comments about why
I made a point to do that because I got a lot of comments from mostly vegans about how human teeth aren't meant to eat raw meat. So I just was showing it there so people could see that, yeah, you can't eat it.
aren't you sick? Aren't you going to get salmonella? Aren't you going to get worms and parasites? Look, I eat salmonella every day and I'm fine. The problem with pathogens or the bacteria are that pathogens are only responsible for the environments in which and on which they feed. So if bacteria or pathogens are in a toxic environment, they are feeding off of toxicity, and sourcing your food is the most important part, and that's really where you mitigate your risk and how ill you may become. Because if you're eating toxic, unhealthy animals, it's gonna make you sick. And it really doesn't matter if you're still cooking those toxic, unhealthy animals, because you're still eating unhealthy animals. So I mix up the egg with the beef pretty good. Steak tartare is another one of my favorite dishes to eat. It is minced or ground pork combined with a raw egg and mixed together. That's a very pleasing combination, kind of a old world steak and eggs, if you will. And one of my other favorite foods currently that I crave is raw pork. The reason is because the raw pork has a very distinct taste and flavor. It's very succulent and rich. The fat is also unique in that it has a nice flavor profile as opposed to beef or lamb. It's got a little more depth to it. So if I had to choose right now, I would probably say I prefer raw pork as opposed to raw beef.
And the source where I got that from, they actually had really good pork. The butcher I go to now doesn't have as good a pork, especially in the winter. But yeah, pork is something I've kind of stopped eating so much of. If you saw my other videos, not because I don't really like it, I just don't have as much of a taste for it. So I can get good beef, and I can get decent chicken and fish. So
sometimes after eating a big meal, there's leftovers, and a great way to get rid of those is to reward the dogs with a nice treat. I didn't eat all the heart because I'm eating a lot today for this video, so I'm just going to give the rest of the dogs here.
That dog is scared of the camera, scared of everything. But yeah, that was that was his idea, Travis's idea to do this for the video, and I was like, okay, sure, whatever.
It's very good. Dogs' natural diet is raw meat. Likewise with cats. And sit. And if you want to learn more about that, there's the Pottinger cat study. It's a very comprehensive study about the diet of animals, different control groups of cats that were fed raw meat and raw milk versus cooked meat and pasteurized milk versus the kibble diet a lot of pets eat today. And he found that the raw meat and raw milk cats were the healthiest, and all of the other control groups of cats experienced degenerative diseases. Maybe they're scared of the camera. I'm not a special person. I didn't invent this diet. I didn't discover this. Many people in the carnivore community, the raw primal diet community, we owe it all to Agenus Vonderplanitz. He wrote 2 books, and in those books, Agenus lays out his story and his evidence for the raw primal diet and why it is so essential and beneficial for humans. He himself cured his leukemia with the raw primal diet, and he has also helped numerous clients of his to perfect their health and cure their diseases. So if you are interested in learning more about it, I would recommend reading those books, which you can find online fairly easy. There's also hours and hours of his lectures on YouTube, which are free to watch.
So, yeah, that's it. This is pretty much, when you look up raw meat on YouTube, this is like the 8th video or something. And the other raw meat videos, they don't talk about Agenus. And yeah, this is like one of the biggest, primal diet centered, or at least, where I mention and cite Agenus videos that are on the internet. So that's pretty cool. And I get messages from people all the time, like, oh yeah, you're from the documentary. It's not so apparent at first because I'm not very, centered or whatever with my social media. It's kind of like, it's pretty vague because I'm not very active. And when people realize, they say, oh yeah, I remember your documentary. I started because I actually got a message from, if you've seen Devarius DLC, and he said, I started eating raw meat and then I stopped, and then I saw your documentary and I started doing it again because of you. So that's really cool. And obviously, if you've seen his journey, it's really helping him. So, this is it's helped people and given a lot of exposure. This was reacted by a couple big streamers. And had a couple million views on those. And of course, all those people, they're not, a lot of them aren't going to, dig too much deeper into it. But I think it might plant some seeds in the future. And I didn't have any say in like how this video was totally edited. So in my mind, the Agenus piece should have gone earlier in my view, because like you lose a lot of people like after 10 minutes, especially nowadays. So that's like the one big thing I'd change about the video is him mentioning Agenus, like moving that up, closer to like within 5 minutes of the video as opposed to the end. But it is what it is. So that's my reaction of the video, and I hope you enjoyed it.